After 50, you may start noticing a strange kind of weakness more and more often: brain fog, sleepiness, and sudden irritability. Most of the time, you blame it on the weather, poor sleep, or simply getting older. But in reality, these can be hidden signs of sharp blood sugar spikes that may eventually lead to diabetes. The problem is that with age, the body becomes less efficient at processing glucose. Insulin sensitivity goes down, muscles become less active, and a sedentary lifestyle makes the whole thing worse. And even if you watch your diet carefully and try to avoid all kinds of carbohydrates, sudden sugar spikes can still happen. That is why you need to know how to deal with them before they turn into insulin resistance and then into diabetes. I'm going to share some of the simplest but most effective tricks that can quickly lower your blood sugar, and you will not even have to get out of your chair. Trick number 1. The soleus push-up. You have probably never heard of the so-called soleus muscle, which sits deeper than the calf muscle and runs along the back of your lower leg. Even though this muscle makes up less than 1% of your body weight, it is considered the most fatigue-resistant muscle in your body because it contains a large number of slow oxidative fibers. In other words, it uses oxygen efficiently and can keep working for a long time without tiring quickly. But the biggest advantage of the soleus muscle is that it can use glucose directly from the blood with very little need for insulin. Put simply, if you activate it, you can help lower your blood sugar. To do that, sit upright in a chair, place both feet flat on the floor, and relax your calf muscles. Then slowly raise your heel a few centimeters off the ground while keeping the rest of your foot pressed to the floor. After that, lower your heel back down to the starting position without lifting the rest of the foot. This exercise is best done for 10 to 15 minutes after a meal, and also before bed when spontaneous blood sugar spikes can sometimes happen. Clinical research published in iScience shows that the soleus push-up after a carbohydrate load improved the glycemic response by as much as 52%, with less insulin being released. In other words, in people whose blood sugar spike was deliberately triggered, the soleus push-up brought it down twice as fast as in those who did nothing at all. So the next time you feel sleepy or foggy-headed, try the soleus push-up first. It may not be age at all. It may just be a sudden blood sugar spike. Friends, before we continue and I reveal a few more simple tricks, I'd like to ask you to support my channel by hitting the subscribe button. It is a small thing for you, but it would mean a lot to me. Trick number 2, hydration. A simple glass of water is often underestimated as a way to lower blood sugar, but it can be surprisingly effective. In a sense, water can act almost like insulin. When you are well hydrated, your kidneys can more easily flush excess glucose out of the bloodstream through urine. But when hydration is low, the kidneys tend to keep you in that high sugar state for longer. In medicine, this process is known as glucosuria. That is why water can become a real ally when it comes to lowering glucose levels in the body. So when you start feeling heavy after a meal or unusually sleepy, try drinking about 500 milliliters of water without even leaving the table. It is better not to drink it all at once, but in small sips over about 15 minutes. That is gentler on the stomach and does not leave you feeling overly full. In that way, you gradually dilute the concentration of sugar in the blood, and the kidneys can begin clearing it out more effectively. Of course, it is even better not to wait for a spike to happen in the first place, but to maintain proper hydration throughout the day so your blood sugar stays more stable overall. Trick number 3, parasympathetic activation. The parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for digestion and metabolic balance in the body. One of its key players is the vagus nerve, which runs from the brain throughout the body and acts almost like a manager of your metabolic processes. With the help of specific breathing exercises, you can stimulate the vagus nerve, which may improve insulin sensitivity, enhance blood flow, and help glucose move into tissues more efficiently. But most importantly, it helps lower cortisol. And very often, blood sugar spikes are tied to stress. Not just the emotional stress we usually think about, but internal stress as well. That stress can come from overeating, from excessive strain, or even from the opposite, moving too little. So your body may be under stress even when you do not consciously feel it. In moments like that, the adrenal glands release cortisol, and cortisol pushes blood sugar upward. On top of that, emotional stress follows many of us almost everywhere, which is why parasympathetic breathing exercises should become a regular habit after 50. To get the effect you want, sit up straight, relax your shoulders, and try to breathe into your belly. Then inhale through your nose while counting silently to 4. Hold briefly and count to 3. Then comes the key part, a slow, extended exhale as you count all the way to 10. That long exhale is what helps stimulate the vagus nerve. Repeat the exercise 5 times and you may begin to feel your blood sugar settling down. Trick number 4, activating deep metabolism. This trick is built around another unique muscle in your body that almost no one talks about. The transverse abdominal muscle sits deep inside, wrapping around your torso like a wide belt and lying very close to your internal organs. Blood sugar spikes, especially after meals, can happen in part because blood flow in the abdominal area begins to slow down. The liver, intestines, and pancreas are all doing their work, but without much active help from the muscles. That is when you may start to feel heaviness in your stomach, often accompanied by sleepiness. In simple terms, this slowdown in abdominal blood flow can make the blood more concentrated and raise the level of sugar circulating in it. But if you begin stimulating the organs and the blood flow through the transverse abdominal muscle, it is almost like giving yourself an internal massage. That helps get the blood moving and stimulates the digestive organs. In this way, you may not only lower blood sugar but also relieve that heavy, sluggish feeling after overeating. To activate the transverse abdominal muscle, slowly pull your stomach inward, as if you were trying to zip up a pair of jeans that are just a little too tight. The contraction should be as strong as you can comfortably make it. Hold your stomach in that fully drawn-in position for a few seconds, then slowly relax it back out. Repeat the exercise about 20 times. The main thing is not to hold your breath. Breathe calmly and evenly. Only your stomach should be doing the work. Trick number 5, contrast stimulation. This is one of those things that truly deserves to be called a trick, because at its core it is a simple but very effective way of outsmarting your body. The idea is that cold, even local mild cold, can, when used correctly, trigger a whole chain of reactions in the body known as microadaptation. In plain English, in order to keep your body temperature stable, your body begins using internal energy more actively, and that means your blood sugar level starts to fall. The best place for cold stimulation is your skin because it contains a huge number of cold receptors. The moment you touch something cold, those receptors send a signal to the brain. The outside environment has changed, and the brain responds by speeding up metabolism. That is why after a meal, you can hold an ice cube in your hand or dip your hands into a bowl of cold water. This can also work very well before a meal, helping deliberately activate metabolism and prepare the body for the digestive process that follows. You need to understand that after 50, your body does not just brush off blood sugar spikes. Every spike, even one that seems minor, can still hit your system hard. The blood vessels are especially vulnerable because over time they become more fragile. Blood sugar swings can also affect brain function, contribute to extra fat around the abdomen, and leave you feeling drained, sluggish, and unwilling to move. That is why it can be so important to know how to quickly regain control of your body and bring your blood sugar down without even getting up from the table. Just use these tricks and bring your sugar back under control in the moment. But do not forget to stay physically active as well. Walking is one of the most effective tools we have today for improving health on every level. And even in something as simple as walking, there are specific techniques you can use deliberately to support your health in a more targeted way. And right now I'm going to show you a few of those tricks. Walking trick number 1, arm swing. After 50, your arm swing often becomes smaller without you even noticing it, and that puts more strain on your torso. As a result, walks can tire you out faster and may even lead to lower back pain. But when your arms are bent and you actively swing them forward and back with every step, something changes. Even though the walk becomes more energetic, it often feels less tiring. That is because the natural movement of your arms helps your body move in a more coordinated and stable way. On top of that, a stronger arm swing adds intensity to your walk, giving you more of an aerobic workout, which supports both your breathing and your heart health. But it is important to do it correctly so you do not put unnecessary strain on your body. Bend your arms slightly at the elbows and consciously move them forward and back in rhythm with your steps, without tensing your shoulders. You do not need to wave them around like a conductor on opening night. It is enough for your arms to lead, the body, and for your chest to stay open. Walking trick number 2, brain walking. After 50, an ordinary walk can be turned into an exercise that helps improve cognitive function and balance. One of the best ways to do this is by trying what is known as dual task walking. Walking while giving your brain a simple mental task at the same time. While you walk, try counting backward by 3s, naming cities that start with the same letter, recalling foods of a certain color, or alternating between male and female names. The task should stay light and manageable, not so hard that it leaves you mentally stuck. In this way, you improve memory, attention, and mental processing through the thinking task, while at the same time training your coordination and walking rhythm while your brain is occupied. Clinical studies show that dual task walking can improve cognitive function up to twice as effectively as other physical methods. Walking trick number 3, stepping backward. This trick is somewhat similar to brain walking, but it is aimed less at cognitive function and more at improving reaction time and coordination. Many people over 50 underestimate how important these abilities really are, but according to the statistics, around 25,000 older Americans are injured in falls every single day. That is exactly why coordination and reaction time matter so much. To improve both, I suggest that during your walk, you stop after every 100 steps and take 10 steps backward. Then do a slow, smooth 360-degree turn and continue walking. Walking backward challenges your balance, coordination, and attention more than regular forward walking. All of this can reduce your risk of falling by as much as 90%, helping keep you safer in the future. Walking trick number 4, interval walking. Most of us tend to walk the same route at the same pace every time, but after 50, that alone is often not enough to create real health benefits. That is where interval walking comes in. You can begin your walk as usual and then simply pick up the pace for just 1 minute. Or when planning your route, choose sections where you will need to walk uphill or across uneven ground. When you increase the intensity of your steps, you may not even feel that much strain, but for your body it works like a mild stress test, a moderate but sudden challenge that speeds up metabolism, raises your heart rate, and improves mitochondrial function through aerobic effort. All of this supports your cardiovascular system and your hormonal balance, because the body has to regulate things like cortisol and insulin more actively. It also improves metabolism at the cellular level, which can help reduce inflammation, and with it, the risk of chronic disease. And if your interval walking includes changes in terrain, uphill stretches, or short sections of uneven ground, you also challenge your cognitive function because your brain and balance system have to stay alert. On top of that, it becomes an excellent aerobic workout for both your skeletal muscles and your heart. The key here is not to overdo it. Uphill sections and bursts of faster walking should not last too long. You can absolutely take short pit stops to catch your breath if you start to feel tired. And do not forget to bring at least 1 liter of water with you on walks like this. Dehydration is not something you want to mess with. Walking trick number 5, walking with tall posture. This walking technique helps reduce stress on your joints by creating a straighter, more balanced line through the body, especially around the spine. That protects you not only from back pain, but also from spinal disc problems and pinched nerves. When you walk with tall posture, your body weight stays closer to your center instead of shifting too far forward or to the sides. Because of that, your knees, hips, and lower back do not have to absorb the extra imbalance. With your weight better aligned, your core muscles also begin to work more effectively, which helps keep them more metabolically active. That can lower the risk of sarcopenia and also reduce the chances of gaining visceral fat. Just as importantly, walking with tall posture helps you take deeper breaths because your chest stays more open. That gives you more energy during the walk and supports the health of your respiratory system as well. To walk with tall posture, imagine that someone is gently lifting you upward by the crown of your head. Keep your shoulders relaxed, your eyes forward, your chin from dropping down, and your stomach slightly engaged. And if it feels hard to hold that posture for the entire walk, take a break. Sit down, relax your body, and reset so you do not end up overstraining yourself. Walking trick number 6, walking after meals. This is not so much a trick as it is an important habit that many people overlook. After eating, do not rush to sink into the couch or armchair in front of the TV, especially after dinner, because blood sugar and insulin spikes can really work against you, disrupting your sleep, slowing fat breakdown, and even increasing the risk of developing diabetes. A short walk after a meal can help counter all of that because it activates your muscles, a metabolically active tissue that pulls glucose out of the bloodstream to use for energy. That is why walking after eating helps soften blood sugar and insulin spikes. This is especially important for people over 50. As we age, blood sugar control often gets worse, even if a person has never been officially diagnosed with diabetes. Just 15 minutes of calm or moderate walking about 20 minutes after a meal, especially after dinner, can make a real difference. And if you are short on time, even 2 to 5 minutes is still better than nothing. Walking trick number 7, counted steps. Most people measure a walk by time, but for your health, it is often better to measure it in steps. This works especially well for those who enjoy walking alone. For people over 50, 7,000 steps a day is a solid daily target. Try dividing that number into 3 walks after meals, about 2,500 steps each. During the walk, count your steps and adjust the pace by speeding up or slowing down when needed, but make sure you still complete your full target. In the process, you are not only supporting your cognitive function through counting and pacing, but also improving coordination through what could be called the brain-muscle connection. This helps sharpen body awareness and responsiveness. And by controlling the intensity, you can raise or lower the load on your body and support the work of your most important systems. The key in this kind of walk is to keep pauses to a minimum. And if it starts to feel hard, slow your pace as much as necessary instead of stopping right away. That is how a simple walk turns into a real workout. Walking is better than pills and hospital treatment, so make sure to use the techniques I shared with you today. By turning an ordinary walk into a small workout, you are extending your life and improving your health at the same time. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And I also recommend watching the video on how to quickly and easily make a smoothie that takes the fatigue out of your legs and helps bring their strength back. It should be appearing on your screen right now.